All right, so while we're waiting for the to start here, we're set to start at 6:45. A couple of announcements. So we were talking a couple weeks back in the weekly update about providing the facility for you to define any behavior that you want to get a prediction on. So that is the programmer and I are kind of working out those details now. So that work is proceeding. What that means is if you have a trading strategy that you like, you'll be able to add an alert condition to the chart, and then when that triggers, the machine learning system will give you a prediction on that bar. So the idea there is that you can take any trading strategy that you have and then add a machine learning prediction to it that's based on the order flow. All right, so that's we're working out those details right now. All right, so filled short here, 241. That's a breakout. So we broke that level. Now at first target, so stop move to -5, and let's see if we can break those lows or not. We're trailing at +20. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so we're trailing by, we broke the lows and we're trailing. We've got, I can't tell how much. Trailing by 20 now. Yeah, my attention was diverted there as I was reading Alex's message. I believe you, Alex. I don't want other people doing that without it being blessed by the brokers. So a couple people didn't get filled on that trade. That's interesting. It is live, right?
Order filled.
Yeah, okay, it is live. Yeah, I was worried that you're accidentally in sim, and and sometimes in sim you'll get filled where you wouldn't in live. But it's a live trade. Plus, I can't do the math. 145, however many ticks that is. So we got taken out on the 20 tick trail. How much did we get total? We got in at 59.50, and it went to 47. So 49.50 would have been kind of the 10-point target I would have gone for previously as a discretionary trader. So I made less in this case. I ran lots of tests over the weekend using the model that's built with data through December 7th, and then running tests on December and January. Very, very clearly, you're much better off with a 20-point target, 80-tick target, and trail by 20, as opposed to just getting out at 10 points. You just have to be able to handle those cases where you give back more than you like. Now, the other thing that's going on, the other announcement I didn't make earlier, is that I'm working with the programmer to trail the way I want to trail, and to see what's involved in doing that. Because here's a good example. I would normally not move the stop until this wave completed, and then my stop would be sitting right here right now. I'd still be in this move. So that's the way I trail. Get to scratch and then trail to the zigzag, trail to the pullback. So you need to let that pullback happen and then get in. So that requires. I didn't see a way to do it using the spreadsheet study. That's not massively complicated. And so, but you can do it using custom coding. It's not that big a deal. And so I'm kind of looking at that and seeing how best to sort of integrate that into this system. So we'll see what we end up with. So in this case, I actually would have made less because I would have moved the stop. I would have gotten taken out here at about 53.75. And now while we're chatting here, order placed short. 223 is a failed turn. So it sees that turning behavior, and the prediction is the prediction is failure. So let's see what happens now at first target. So entry -5, and same story. Okay, and now we've hit 20, so now we're trailing again. You can see you're better off if you didn't get out, because we took new risk getting in. Whereas if we just stayed in or added to the position, then you're not taking new risk. Now we need to see if we can break these lows or not. Positions at scratch. All right, so we're breaking this low, so I'm starting to trail now. Looks like we're going to get tagged here.
Order filled.
Right, so small gain there. All right, so filled long now on that's a failed pullback short. That's interesting. So it sees that pullback and says, okay, the short's going to fail. That's the prediction. And now you're getting 113, which is that's a turn long. It actually looks a little sideways to me, so we'll have to look at that and see. Clearly, the system we're not in the area that where it thinks it's too flat. Let's see. Let's make sure. Yeah, the noise filter set to 4. Okay, so 10 tick stop there. Just looking at what we see here, right? We shorted here. All right, so you like that. Because we're short, we're sort of ignoring these long codes. We get another short here, which the system is, you can see, we profited a little bit from that. And then we see the longs here, and the market's turning. So it's just again, from a systems development standpoint, I really like what I'm seeing in terms of the machine learning system identifying what to do. There's some standard price variation issues and trade management stuff to work through. You have to like what you're seeing here. Order placed long. To me, that looks like chasing. It's one of those cases where a trade that I wouldn't take, or it'd be really hard for me to take that trade. So anyway, getting back to oil, we're looking at ways to trade it now. It's not what it used to be. Back in its heyday, it made just wonderful runs, and it was a blast to trade, and it went really dead quiet for a long time. It's woken up a bit now, and so we're trying to see if I can find a way to trade it. So starting to work through that sequence of identifying the behaviors that apply to that market. This is really a labor-intensive process. And now placed long again. So let's see. Here's a case where, as a human, it would be really hard to take that trade. Right. The first trade is something I would struggle to take to begin with. And the second one is that, I wouldn't do it, right? Because you're still reeling from having taken that stop. In this case, we won't get filled, so the order will cancel because we didn't get filled.
Order
But
filled.
it's worth noting here that this is another case where you basically got stopped out to the tick here, right there. Just a few ticks. And didn't get filled on the next code. And then now we're taking a short here on a break of the highs. Really, that's another really tough trade to take. We actually picked the top on Friday doing that. Here we'll see. It's really the market looks like it's going up, doesn't it?
ES order placed.
And then the ES is doing something now. Same thing, it's shorting the highs. So yes, absolutely. If you were running bigger stops, then you know, you're in this trade long, and you're in this trade long, and you're actually still in this one here. So it's just something to think about. You don't go make a change, but you know, if you continue to see that, then you might want to reevaluate. The ES is now trailing. And so it kind of makes you wonder here, do you have the same problem in the NASDAQ again, where you got stopped out to the tick or not? We got stopped out right there. It's easy to forget that, you know, the overnight range was 55 points. That's big by normal standards. It's just small by recent standards. So again, if we're working normally, you know, we tend to see between, you know, kind of 20 and 40 point overnight ranges, and then suddenly it goes to 50 or 60, and now, you know, okay, that's an increase in volatility. So if the markets are going back to normal, then we can start thinking about doing things like cut your size in half and double your stops. Whereas I wouldn't have done that in February and March. It was too crazy. Whereas here, you know, once again, this is basically stopped out to the, not to the tick, but just by a few ticks.
CL order placed.
All right, so we may find that that's what we have to do. Let's increase the stops to deal with this, or change the order entry. To get a better entry. So instead of minus, you know, currently we're set to -1. So one tick back, you know, that says one tick back from the end of the bar. So, you know, change it to 5. What happens is you get a better entry here and here, and you get these trades, but you miss this one, right? You're not going to get filled here because the market doesn't pull back 5 ticks, just 1 tick. So that's the trade-off you're making.